Jesus stood up in the middle of a violent sea, looked directly at the wind and the waves, and spoke. Within seconds, the water flattened. The wind died out completely. Everything went silent. No negotiation happened. No hesitation existed. Heaven's authority moved through a single word and reality shifted. We approach storms with a different strategy. We list every problem we're facing. We explain the chaos to God as if He hasn't already seen it unfold. We ask Him politely if it aligns with His will to maybe consider calming things down. We repeat ourselves. We plead our case. We wait for something to shift. Meanwhile, the storm keeps building strength. The anxiety keeps tightening its grip. The sickness keeps advancing. The chaos keeps expanding. Jesus operated from a completely different framework. He didn't sit around waiting for storms to eventually pass. He didn't hope that peace would magically arrive on its own timeline. He opened His mouth, spoke with authority, and reality rearranged itself to match His words. He issued clear commands, and the natural world had no option but to comply. Most people assumed that word only applied to physical weather patterns. Wind hitting sails and waves crashing over boats. But if you study the Gospels carefully, you'll notice something. Jesus used that same word when He stood over sick bodies and commanded healing. He used it when He confronted demonic forces. He used it when He walked into rooms saturated with fear and death. Same word every time. Same level of authority behind it. Same undeniable result. So what was that word? What did Jesus say that carried enough power to override natural laws? And here's the real question. Can you access that same authority? That's exactly what I'm breaking down right now. I'm going to show you the specific word Jesus spoke, the critical moments when He deployed it, the source of authority that backed it up, and the exact practice that activates it in your life starting tonight. Because once you understand how Jesus released peace, everything changes. You'll stop sitting around waiting for circumstances to improve. You'll stop reacting to every wave of chaos that hits your life. You'll start speaking with the authority you've always carried, but never fully activated. This goes way beyond traditional prayer. This is about understanding the weight your words carry when you speak from complete alignment with God's will. Let's go deeper. Mark chapter 4, verse 39. The disciples are packed into a boat crossing the Sea of Galilee. Without warning, a massive storm rolls in. Waves start crashing over the sides of the boat. Wind tears at the sails. Water floods the deck. These aren't rookies panicking over nothing. Several of these men made their living on this exact sea. They knew boats, they knew storms, and they were convinced this one would kill them. Meanwhile, Jesus is asleep in the back of the boat, completely undisturbed, completely at rest while chaos surrounds Him. The disciples shake Him awake. Their voices are frantic. "Teacher, don't you care that we're about to drown? Watch what happens next." Jesus doesn't panic. He doesn't scramble to grab a bucket and start bailing water. He doesn't match their energy or mirror their fear. He stands up, He turns toward the wind and the waves, and He speaks one word: peace. But listen to how He says it. This isn't a gentle suggestion. This isn't a hopeful whisper. He looks directly at the storm and commands it. Peace, be still. The original Greek word used here is siopao. It means to be muzzled, to be forcibly silenced, to have your mouth shut. Because when divine authority speaks, creation has no ability to resist. The disciples sat there stunned. Mark records their reaction in verse 41. Who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey Him. But here's what they didn't grasp yet. This wasn't just about controlling weather. This was about the source behind the word. Jesus wasn't reacting to external chaos. He was imposing internal authority over it. We spend our time describing how bad the storm is. Luke chapter 8. A synagogue leader named Jairus comes running to Jesus. His 12-year-old daughter is dying. Jesus agrees to go, but by the time they arrive, messengers meet them at the door with devastating news. She's dead. Don't bother the teacher anymore. Jesus ignores them. He walks straight into the house. The place is packed with people wailing and mourning, professional mourners filling the room with noise and despair. And the first thing Jesus does is clear the atmosphere. He tells them to stop. He removes the chaos. He refuses to let their unbelief contaminate the space. Then he walks into the room where the dead girl is lying. He takes her hand, and he speaks. "Child, get up." Luke 8:54. Not a long prayer, not a desperate plea, a command. And her spirit returns immediately. She stands up, alive. Notice the pattern. Before the miracle, he established peace. He silenced the mourning. He created an environment where faith could operate without interference. Mark chapter 1. A leper approaches Jesus. Leprosy was a death sentence. It isolated you from society. It made you untouchable. This man falls at Jesus' feet and says, "If you're willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reaches out, he touches him, and he says 3 words, "Be clean." Verse 42 says, immediately the leprosy left him. Not gradually, not over time, immediately. Because Jesus didn't suggest healing, he commanded it. He spoke peace over a body ravaged by disease. Another scene, Mark chapter 2. 4 men tear a hole in a roof and lower their paralyzed friend down to where Jesus is teaching. The room is packed. There's no other way to get to him. Jesus looks at the man and says, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." No hesitation in his voice. No uncertainty. Just pure authority. The man stands, picks up his mat, walks out in front of everyone. Every single time, the principle is the same. Jesus didn't analyze the sickness. He didn't study the symptoms. He didn't ask how long it had been there. He looked at disorder and commanded order. So if one word carried that level of power when it came out of his mouth, but what actually happens when you speak it? So why did it work when Jesus said it? What made that word carry so much weight? Because plenty of people say the word peace. They say it in prayers. They say it over their lives. They declare it out loud, and nothing changes. The chaos keeps spinning. The fear keeps growing. The sickness stays put. The difference wasn't the word itself. The difference was where Jesus spoke it from. He didn't speak from anxiety. He didn't speak from desperation, hoping something might shift. He spoke from complete alignment with the Father. He spoke from a place of absolute knowing. He wasn't reacting to what he saw in front of him. He was defining what would exist in the next moment. Look at John chapter 14, verse 27. Jesus tells his disciples, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives." Notice that. He didn't say he hopes they find peace. He didn't say peace might show up eventually if conditions improve. He said he gives it. That's the kind of peace Jesus operated in. Supernatural peace that exists independent of external conditions. The kind of peace that doesn't make sense to people watching from the outside. So let's bring this full circle. And here's what changes everything. You carry that same authority. The same spirit that lived in Jesus lives in you. Romans chapter 8, verse 11 makes this clear. If the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies because of his spirit who lives in you. So here's what I want you to do tonight. Before you close your eyes, before you lay your head down, before you surrender to sleep, I want you to do what Jesus did. Walk through your home. Walk through your mind. Walk through every area of your life that feels out of control right now and speak one word over it. Peace. Say it over your racing thoughts, the ones that won't stop spinning, the ones that replay the worst case scenario on repeat. Look at that mental chaos and say it out loud. Peace, be still.